Joe Giudice believes Joe and Melissa Gorga reported him to the FBI. Joe Giudice supports ex-wife Teresa Giudice's claim that her brother, Joe Gorga, and sister-in-law, Melissa Gorga, helped land the two of them behind bars almost a decade ago. When they came on the show, they were very good friends with my ex-partner's attorneys, which went to the feds, which I think Melissa and Joe were involved. Joe alleged on Monday's episode of the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast with David Yontef. The former The Real Housewives of New Jersey husband claimed that he's friends with an ex-FBI guy, who told him for a fact that they were involved. The unnamed former agent allegedly said that Joe, 48, and Melissa, 44, were helping and behind the scenes of alerting authorities of the Giudice's fraud. They went to the feds to feed them all this information, the reality star claimed. Yeah, I might have cheated on some things, my tax returns, you know, who didn't? Page 6 has reached out to Melissa and Joe's reps for comment. Joe Giudice believes that Joe and Melissa Gorga played a role in reporting him to the FBI nearly 10 years ago. As previously reported, Joe ultimately spent 41 months in the slammer after pleading guilty to failing to pay taxes and mail, wire and bankruptcy fraud until March 2019. Teresa served 11 months in prison from January through December 2015. The two, both 51, divorced shortly after Joe's release and deportation to Italy in 2020. During his latest podcast interview, Joe continued to slam the Gorgas for alleging the Giudice family would not still be living in that house and have food if they hadn't helped film the spin-off, Teresa Checks In, during Teresa's prison stay. Teresa Giudice recently accused her brother and sister-in-law of contacting the authorities. Why don't you tell them they ought to thank me again, because they got paid to do that, all right, he alleged. So if it wasn't for the spin-off, they wouldn't have gotten paid. They eat off my back, they're still eating off my back. Joe shared his opinion shortly after Teresa blamed Melissa and Joe for putting her in jail, which Melissa vehemently denied. Teresa, we didn't commit mortgage fraud. You did, dollface, like, stop, Melissa said during a preview clip for the upcoming second reunion episode. Teresa claimed that, similar to her ex-husband, she also talked to someone in the FBI and allegedly has proof of her brother and sister-in-law's involvement. The Giudices and Gorgas have always had a rocky relationship, but they stopped speaking to each other after an explosive argument during the season 13 finale.